So we start with Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Srila Prabhupada Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar ki jai, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you for this evening's Bhagavad Gita class, and today we are going to study text 17 from chapter 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya uttamaḥ puruṣastvanya paramātmety udāhṛtaḥ yo loka-trayam āviśya bibharty avyaya īśvaraḥ uttamaḥ puruṣastvanya paramātmety udāhṛtaḥ yo loka-trayam āviśya bibharty avyaya īśvaraḥ uttamaḥ puruṣastvanya paramātmety udāhṛtaḥ yo loka-trayam āviśya bibharty avyaya īśvaraḥ. Word by word translation. Uttamaḥ, the best. Puruṣah, personality. Tu, but. Anyaḥ, another. Paramātmā, the supreme self. Iti, thus. Udāhṛtaḥ is said. Yah, who. Loka, of the universe. Trayam, the three divisions. Avyaya, entering. Vibharty is maintaining. avyaya, inexhaustible, īśvaraḥ, the Lord. Translation: besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The idea of this verse is very nicely expressed in Kathopanishad 2.2.13 and Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.13. It is clearly stated there that above the innumerable living entities, some of whom are conditioned and some of whom are liberated, there is this Supreme Personality, who is Paramatma. The Upanishadic verse runs as follows: Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. The purport is that amongst all the living entities, both conditioned and liberated, there is one Supreme Living Personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who maintains them and gives them all the facility of enjoyment according to different work. That Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. A wise man who can understand Him is eligible to attain perfect peace, not others. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapte Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So it's my pleasure to be with all of you, and I am grateful to be given this service of glorifying the Lord by speaking on the message of Bhagavad Gita. And this is a very special period, the month of Puruṣottam, the best among all the other months, and very conducive for performing devotional service. And in this month we are hearing from the 15th chapter, which is entitled Puruṣottam Yoga, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. So it's very appropriate. And in today's verse, we are going to see who is that Puruṣottam. Purushottam refers to whom, what it means, all those things are described in this particular verse today that we are going to discuss. So let's look at the verse first. Uttamaḥ puruṣas anyaḥ paramātmety udāhṛtaḥ yo loka-trayam āviśya bibharty avyaya īśvaraḥ. So it starts with uttamaḥ puruṣah. So uttamaḥ means the best and puruṣah is personality. So uttamaḥ puruṣah, the best of the personality, the best person or the greatest person. And if we put it other way around, like puruṣah uttamaḥ, then that when that is combined, puruṣah uttamaḥ becomes puruṣottamaḥ. That's how it is in Sanskrit. The puruṣottam word comes from these two words, puruṣah uttamaḥ. So that is called puruṣottam. So the person who the greatest or best person is called puruṣottam. So just a minute. Okay. So so here in the translation we see it starts with besides these two. So that shows that there is a connection with something what has been studied earlier. Besides these two, so what are these two? And that is mentioned in the previous verse where Krishna says, Dvamimo puruṣau loke ksharascha kshara evacha kshara sarvani bhutani kutastho kshara uchyate. So dvamimo, dva imo, these two. So Krishna is talking about two types of living entities in the previous verse. One is called fallible and other is infallible. So one who is subjected to fall down and gets attracted by the material energy is fallible. And that is called kshara. Kshara means one who falls down. Akshara, who is infallible. Kutastho kshara uchyate. So there are two types of living entities. One who is attracted by the material energy of the Lord, it's called kshara. And the other type of living entities who are not attracted by the material energy, rather they are situated in transcendence. They are liberated living entities. They are in the spiritual abode. They are called akshara. So these are the two types of living entities that he has mentioned prior to this verse. So this is well in connection with the previous verse. And so he says, besides these two, so these two liberated and conditioned living entities, there is the greatest living personality, and that is the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. So here Krishna himself is establishing the unique position of himself. And in the next verse he says aham, where this person, the Purushottam that he is talking about, here he is speaking from a third person point of view, that besides these two there is another living personality. He's not saying me, but in the next verse he says, and that is me. So there is a complete connection here, and we can see that that establishes that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because here he's saying that besides these two, there is a Supreme Person, the topmost person, the Supreme Soul. And then next verse he says, and that is me. So we will, before we discuss in detail, let us look at a little bit on what are the different conceptions people have about the existence of the Supreme Person. So there are many who are called asuras. They don't even believe in the existence of any supreme person or any reality. The next chapter is entitled The Divine and Demoniac Nature, where the demoniac people's thinking has been described. And there is a verse, I'll just open it up and read it. It's 16th chapter, 8th verse. And the verse goes as follows. Asatyam apratishtham te jagatahurineshwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kama hetukam. So this category of people, they say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So there is one category of people who think in this manner. And these people are called demoniac, as per Bhagavad Gita. There are many who do not believe in any God. They are atheists, demoniac. And they are quite large in number. They think that this world has come about on its own or by chance, and there is no creator, there is no maintainer, everything just happening randomly. And among them, there are many who are very intelligent and so-called scientists. They come up with various theories also to prove that there is no existence of God, and things like Big Bang and other theories of evolution, where they say that there was a big explosion and everything came and it has started happening this way and that way, and that the whole speculative theory they have put forward. Of course, there are a lot of controversies about that, but there are many people who study that and they believe in that. Even though in the world we see that nothing comes by chance, nothing in this world happens by chance. Everything happens with the intention of someone. There is some intelligence behind each and everything that happens, and there is perfect law that governs each and every phenomena of the universe. Even if I toss a coin, whether it will fall as head or tail, people say it's by chance. It may come sometimes as head and sometimes by tail, sometimes as tail. But then if we actually know all the factors that are affecting the coin to travel from my finger to ground, like at what is the mass of the coin, the force by which it was hit, the angle at which it was hit, the air density, the viscosity of the air, and there are so many physical parameters, and the distance from my hand to the ground, and all that. If we know the force of gravity, then one can exactly calculate how this coin is going to fall and predict exactly whether it will be head or tail. But the point is, it's too complicated and not so important to do all this, so we take it that it's happening by chance, but actually nothing happens by chance. Again, this is a very simple example. There is nothing in this world that we see happening by chance. Nothing. In all around us, we see whatever, like there is a tube light, there is a fan, there is this laptop, there is internet connection, there is a textbook. Nothing has come here by chance. Everything has been created by someone and then has been brought and kept here by someone. So if we think of all different phenomena that's happening in our lives, nothing is happening by chance. Everywhere there is a cause. So intelligent person must understand that actually there is a cause behind everything. And one should be inquisitive and try to find out what is the supreme cause.
there is a cause for one thing, there is a cause of that cause, and there is a cause of that cause. And then who is the supreme cause? Like I came from my father, my body actually came from my father, and then my father's father, my father's father. If we go on, then ultimately we must reach somewhere. And that way we can trace back to the supreme person. So all the phenomena of the world is happening with some intelligence. There is some intelligence behind each and everything. So there is a creator. There is a perfect order in the creation. There is a perfect laws by which everything is acting. In the last week, along with a few other devotees, I was studying the process of the whole cosmology as described in Bhagavad, the 5th canto. See how detailed and in a vast scale everything has been created, and how much intelligence is required to do all this. It's mind-boggling. Even from the simple ant or mosquito to the big universes, everywhere there is such a preciseness, the accuracy and perfection. Like a small ant has each and everything that is required for it to live. It has eye, you can see, it can smell, walk, all the processes. It knows how to go from there to there. It has intelligence. It's such a tiny thing is there. So how it seems very illogical to think that there is no creator. So that's one category of people who says that there is no creator, everything happening by chance, it's all random, there is no God in picture. Then there is another category where they say that there is only one type of spiritual existence. There is no diverse, like we are all God, that's what they say. That we are right now under the influence of the material energy of the Lord. And once we get over it, then we will become God, and everybody is God, and everything is God. They have that kind of conception, which is impersonal conception, monism. So they do not believe in the duality of the living entity and the super soul. So these are impersonalists or monists. They say that everything is Brahma. Brahma means the spiritual effulgence of the Lord, whatever that we call it, spiritual effulgence of the Lord. They just call that as the absolute truth, Brahman realization. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattva vyat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramātmety bhagavaneti shabdate. So there are three types of realizations, as we have all heard, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Brahman realization means that there is no separate existence of God. Everything is made of just one spiritual substance, and that is Brahma. And we are all same Brahma. And once we get over this material influence, then we become Brahma, and that is God. So that's another category of people. So these are broadly two, and there are many in between and all that. But we're not going to discuss that today. So, but here Krishna is clearly talking about that besides the living entities, there is the existence of the super soul. And this is what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned throughout his books. The existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita here. And because he's clearly saying that besides these two, and that word comes from uttamaḥ, puruṣas, tu, anyaḥ. Tu means but. So it's like mentioning two types of living entities, and then says but. It means there is something else that he wants to say, and that's what Prabhupada mentions as besides these two. That but, because in the word by word translation we don't see anywhere besides these two coming. the word by word translation, but that word tu, tu, uttamaḥ, puruṣas, tu, anyaḥ, tu means but. So when he's saying but, means there is something else that Krishna wants to say, and he says anyaḥ, means another. So which is very different from these two type of living entities that he has mentioned earlier. So he's very clearly establishing the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and which is different from the living entities. So the ordinary living entities can never become God, no matter how much they try or whatever sadhana they do. The best thing that can happen to them is they can go from the conditioned stage to the liberated stage and get established in eternal loving relationship with the Lord, and that is the perfection of the living entity. They can never become the Supreme Person or Supreme God. God always exists independently and is always separate. Other is independent of the living entities. So there are these existence of the soul as the normal living entities as well as the super soul. In our scriptures, it is also mentioned that in all the living entities, like in our heart and everybody's heart, there are two atmas. One is called soul and other is called super soul, and it is compared with two birds living on a tree. One bird is eating the fruit of the tree and other bird is watching and just as a witness. Similarly, the soul, as ourselves, we are enjoying the fruits of our activities that we have performed and we are performing. Either it's the bitter fruit or sweet fruit. Sometimes good results we get and sometimes bad results we get. But the super soul is always watching us. He is there in the heart as witness to each and every activity that we perform, each and every thought that comes across our mind. He knows all our desires. So he's always there with us. And he plays a number of roles, not just as a witness, but also he is the maintainer. He is the sanctioner of our desires. Gatir bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasham Sharanam Surit. These different roles are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. He plays so many roles. So he is also our shelter actually. But it's unfortunate that we are attracted by the glaring material energy of the Lord and we are caught up in this so many material desires and we forget the presence of the Lord in our heart and His presence in each and every living entity, and we never talk to Him, we never reciprocate with Him. And that is the whole purpose of our life in this world, that we should learn and get trained to reciprocate with the super soul residing within our heart. And we should also learn to see the existence of super soul in all living entities, not just in human beings, but in all living entities. And if we develop this kind of vision, then we become perfect. So this is basically here. Let us look at the purport. The idea of this verse is very nicely expressed in Kathopanishad and Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So both references are given, and there is a verse that is mentioned later in the purport. And Prabhupada has quoted this verse many times in his books, and also he has quoted this in his lectures a number of times. Nityo nityanam chetanash chetananam eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman. Which means that out of all the eternal living beings, there is one which is supreme. So that verse is mentioning about the same point that is mentioned in this verse. Actually, this verse, the essence of this verse and essence of those verses in the Upanishads is the same. Here also, Krishna is saying that there is the existence of another supreme living entity other than the two Kshara and Akshara that he has mentioned. And this Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhati Kaman, which means he is maintaining and fulfilling the desires of all other living entities. Eko is one, but Yo Vidhatu Kaman is Bahunam. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhatu Kaman. But he is fulfilling the desires of innumerable living entities. And the same thing is said here also. Bibharty, avyaya, īśvaraḥ. Bibharty means is maintaining. So this one Supreme Personality is actually maintaining all the personality, all the other persons, all the other living entities in the creation. So that verse Prabhupada has quoted. So both were, and the same verse is there in Kathopanishad as well as in Shotashvatar Upanishad. The first two lines are there, 4 lines in the verse, and the first 2 lines are same in both, and the second 2 are slightly different, but the meaning is the same. And this verse, which is written differently, is not exactly like Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetana, not that way. Uttamaḥ puruṣas anyaḥ, but the message is the same. So we see that this is the existence of the Supreme Person is mentioned in a number of literatures, not just in one place. So we should be very clear about it. And in Bhagavad Gita and other places also, in the 2nd chapter, the very beginning, where Krishna says that na tvevaham jatunasam, na tvam neme janadipah, na chaivana bhavishyamah sarve vayam taparam. So he says, neither you nor me nor all these kings. Means he is categorically mentioning himself separately, that all of us existed in the past and all of us will continue to exist in the future. So there also he has given a clear hint that he exists eternally as the Supreme Person, is separate. This separate existence of the Supreme Lord is also mentioned in the 7th chapter when Krishna talks about this material nature, and he says that this bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha. So this material creation is made up of this 5 gross elements and 3 subtle elements. And then he says that beyond this, aparayam itastanyam prakritim viddhi me param. He says that, but that is apara prakriti, inferior nature, but beyond that there is a superior nature. And that is made up of the living entities. So then he says that, okay, one is this, all these material ingredients and this material world, material energy. Then beyond this is the spiritual nature, spiritual energy, which is comprised of living entities. And then he says after that I am the source of both of them. It means he is not just the para nature. He is para, but not just that like other living entities, but he's saying that I am the source of the para as well as apara. As I am the source of both of them, I am the creator, I am the destroyer. I am the origin of all of them. So there also he has established himself separate from the living entities. And here again he is establishing it very clearly. So we should have no doubt. There is Mayavadi philosophy where they say that everybody is same and there is no supreme Lord as such. It's all, everybody is God. So that is an incorrect understanding of the scriptures. So we should be very clear as devotees and following in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where this message has been very clearly taught, that achintya bheda bhedatva, that at one level there is oneness also, because both belong to para prakriti, the superior nature. Both are spiritual in nature, the living entities as well as the Supreme Lord. But then there is a difference, bheda abheda. There is a oneness as well as there is a difference. So the difference is in the terms of quantity. The living entity is very small, very tiny. And the God, the Supreme Lord, is infinite and great. So, and they can never be compared with each other. The living entity, which is so tiny, can never become infinite and can never attain the position of the Supreme Lord. See, Lord is so great, and that's what makes us then understand the greatness of the Lord and glorify Him, developing a loving relationship with Him. So we see that Lord, it is said here in scriptures that Lord is anoraniyam mahato mahiyam, that Supreme Person, Purusha. Purusha means personality, it says as a person. So the Lord is smaller than the smallest and greater than the greatest. that is something very wonderful. Because materially speaking, this is impossible to imagine how something can be smaller than the smallest and bigger than the biggest at the same time. Lord is so small that it resides in each, and it can enter into each and every particle of the creation. It means he must be smaller than the smallest to be able to reside within the smallest thing that we see in our creation. You take an atom, you take a cell, any small living entities, the smallest particle that we can imagine, he resides within that. So he must be smaller than that. So Lord has a capacity to reside within each and everything in the creation, and at the same time, each and everything within the creation resides within the Lord. Matah sthani sarva bhutani. He says that everything resides within me. So whole creation is also within him. It means he must be bigger than the biggest. Something that can accommodate the whole creation must be bigger than the creation. So he is bigger than the biggest. And he is also something which can enter into each and every particle as the super soul, the smaller than the smallest. This is his inconceivable power. So this is the Lord. That is the Supreme Person. In that way, he is there at the both ends of the spectrum. At the very small and the smallest and the biggest, and everything is in between, sandwiched. The whole creation, the living entities, everything in a sense is sandwiched between the Lord's various expansions of the very small as the super soul and very big. So we see that Lord is, in the purport also Prabhupada says that Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma. So here we are learning here in this verse and the previous verse. There are 3-4 verses here which are very clearly talking about the Sambandha Gyan. What is our relationship with the Lord? Who we are and who is. So this is our understanding of a spiritual life. We need to know who I am, who is Lord, and what is our relationship with him. So these verses are talking about that. So this is the most important knowledge that we can get, the Sambandha Gyan. So Krishna is situated within everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he is fulfilling the desires of the living entities and facilitating that and maintaining everyone. He says, Yah loka-trayam āviśya. Loka-trayam is the 3 worlds, the upper planetary systems, the middle planetary system, which is Earth, and then the lower planetary systems. So in all the 3 planetary systems, āviśya, he enters, he is present. And then what he's doing there by being present everywhere? Bibharty, he is maintaining. And maintaining not just for a short period of time, avyaya īśvaraḥ. He is inexhaustible. He is never tired of maintaining. Avyaya, he doesn't get exhausted. Like we all have limited resources. We maintain some organizations, the family or any society or organization. We become exhausted. Lord is inexhaustible. So Lord Krishna is saying that this maintenance work is not something burdensome for him. He can very easily do it, and only Lord can maintain actually. He has that capacity to maintain. In this world, we see so many people claiming to be maintainer. I maintain my family. I have to maintain my family. I have to maintain my wife, children, or I have to maintain the temple. I have to maintain devotees. But nobody actually has the capacity to maintain. Only Krishna can maintain. We are all just servants, little tiny servants. Through us, some maintenance work may happen. But what maintenance can we do? We can't maintain ourselves. Then how can we maintain others? So by hearing all these things, we learn how great God is, how merciful God is, how merciful is Krishna. And that helps us develop an appreciation for him. and gratitude for him, and then a loving relationship with him. That how Lord is the maintainer. We are, Bhakti Vinod Thakur says in the principles of Sharanagati that we must have full faith in the Lord. Rakshishyatiti vishwaso goptritve varanam tatha. That he will always protect us and he will maintain us. So devotees should have firm faith in this. And if we develop this strong faith, then we proceed on the path of surrender to the Lord. So Lord is again and again saying that I maintain. I have been maintaining not just one or two people. He has been maintaining the entire creation from time immemorial, and he will continue to maintain. Only he can maintain. He is the only one who can sustain, maintain, protect everything. He can do it effortlessly and will never get tired. From time immemorial, he has been doing this and he will continue to do that eternally, and he will not get exhausted. He is Ishvara, he is the Lord. So Lord manifests in various features. One feature is Ishvara, where is the mostly the work of creation, maintenance and annihilation and these kind of things. But at the same time, he is also a purusha. He is a person. And with that feature, this is called the absolute truth. So the conception of absolute truth is higher than the conception of Ishvara. Ishvara only talks about the idea of creation, maintenance, and these kind of things. But the conception of the absolute truth talks about the shelter of everything. So shelter and the loving reciprocation relationship. So as Vaishnavas, we learn about the absolute truth. That conception not everybody has. The conception of the absolute truth is much, much higher. It's the highest conception of the Supreme. Many people just understand God means someone who maintains us, he provides us daily bread. That's it, they think, and they are grateful to God for that. That doesn't help develop a loving relationship with the Lord. But when we think that God is not just that he is providing and maintaining us, but also he is a person and he is eternally residing within our heart, and he is our shelter, and we have a loving relationship with him, we can reciprocate with him, and that is something very beautiful. So this conception is there in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many other religious understandings where the God is just understood to be someone who is providing for us, maintaining us, and then we should be grateful to him, that's all. But here we have much, much more detailed conception, and God personally appears in this world to teach us that relationship. He comes and performs wonderful, wonderful pastimes to attract us to his eternal abode. So we should all feel very grateful to be part of this mission of Sri Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where we have this highest form of understanding of the Supreme Lord, that how he is there with us within our heart. This is something that we should deeply think about, that there's someone who is always with us. We are never, never alone. Never alone. And nobody else in this world can be with us all the time. No matter how close a person may be, how best friend or father, mother, wife, children, nobody can be with us all the time. And as close as Krishna is, as super soul in our heart. He is there when we are sleeping. He is there when we are traveling, when we are eating, we are talking. is there at each and every moment of our life. And he is all the time aware of what we are going through, what situation we are in. He's always there, and he's capable also to guide us and help us. See how nice it is to have, suppose, sometimes we think if I always had the support of this person, then I could live very happily. And we hanker for support of some big person. We get financial support or some support in medical support or administrative support or various kind of. Then we feel, oh, if I get access to this person, then I can do my things very nicely. But nobody can provide very long-term support in an infinite manner. But Krishna is there. He's not just there with us, but he's also capable of helping me and supporting me, guiding me. But it is our misfortune that we do not turn to him. We are always looking for support from something which is material, something which is subjected to destruction, something which is not long-lasting, something which is temporary. It's like this, that there is a child who has a very rich, wealthy, well-established parents, but he doesn't want to stay with parents and take their support. Rather, he is out independently trying to maintain himself. So he's looking out for support from different people and in different ways, but suffering. But it's very easy if he has good brain, then he should just turn to his father and everything is there for him. Similarly, we all have the Supreme Person who is not only with us, but he is fully capable of taking care of us. But he wants our reciprocation, loving reciprocation. We turn to him, we listen to him, we talk to him. We chant his holy names. That is one way we reciprocate with him. Chanting the holy name is like calling out to the Lord for being engaged in his service. We chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we chant these names, we call out to the Lord, who is seated within our heart. Paramātmety udāhṛtaḥ. It is said Paramatma iti. So he is known as Paramatma, who is there within our heart. So we call out to him. We are hearing about him. Now we are not remembering him. We read the books, we hear lectures, we associate with devotees. We see all living entities. We should understand that in each living entity there is the existence of the super soul. Krishna is there. We should practice this. And in this way, we develop that reciprocation with the super soul. He's also there as Chaitya Guru. He's called Chaitya Guru. The external Guru we have. Then also there is another. Krishna himself guides from within the heart. Many times we are bewildered and we don't know what to do. And then sometimes we pray and then we get some idea. Okay, we can do this. So those thoughts, those ideas that come from the super soul, he guides. Without super soul support, we can't exist actually. We cannot exist because we are all dependent living entities. We are dependent truths. Our existence is always dependent. We can't exist independently. Only Krishna can exist independently. He is īśvaraḥ. We can't exist independently. So this is something we must understand. When I hear people, everybody tries to be independent. And by making a source of livelihood, people think now I am independent. I can maintain myself because I have money. But what is money going to do? Maintain this body which is going to die anyway. But the real maintenance is the maintenance of consciousness, the state of consciousness, maintenance of the soul. And maintenance of our relationship with the Lord is the real maintenance. And for that, we must turn to the Super Soul. We must turn to Krishna. He maintains our consciousness. He maintains us. So seeing the Lord, reciprocating with the Lord in this way is the whole purpose of our existence in this world. Why? That is the reason we have come here, to learn to reciprocate with the Lord. And Lord has come along with us in this world, and He's always accompanying us as Super Soul within the heart. And we should understand that, and we should learn to reciprocate with the Super Soul. Then our life will be meaningful and successful, and we will be happy, because we will be having the support of someone who is all the time with us and is fully capable. Then there will be no fear. Suppose I have the full support of some big people in the world, then I feel, oh, why to fear? I have no worries. I can, whatever I want, I will get. Everybody is there to support me. But here Krishna is there to support. So if we learn to depend on Krishna, then we become fearless. Unless we learn to become dependent on Krishna and in the Super Soul, we take his shelter, we will always be fearful in this world. There is no way, no matter how much material resources in terms of wealth, power, knowledge, whatever we may have, we will always be fearful. We can see the situation of the world today. The big people, they're all suffering because of this pandemic situation. So much advancement of material science, all power, all wealth, everything is there, but nobody is able to do anything. Everybody is fearful. So in this world, the only way to become fearless is to turn towards Super Soul and take his shelter. Become dependent on him, on his mercy. And in that state of consciousness, we chant the holy name and perform devotional service. And this is how we can perfect our lives, and we can spread the same message to others. It's a very auspicious month, Puruṣottam month. So, and then very soon, after a short gap of 15 days, again the very auspicious month of Kartik is starting. So this whole period of 2.5 months is very, very auspicious, and we all should try to do as much devotional service as possible. So with this prayer, I end here. If anyone has any question or any comments, I'll be happy to look at that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are taking shelter of the Super Soul, but we're also going through the Guru. Can you explain the relationship between us, the Super Soul, and the Guru?
Yes. Yeah, very, very nice question. Super Soul also acts as Chaitya Guru. And even the external manifestation of Guru that we take shelter of, we must understand that Guru is also a representative of the Super Soul. They are not two different existence, the two different personalities. Though ontologically, yes, Guru is also a living entity, but in the role of a Guru, he is representative of the Super Soul. We chant every morning this prayer, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastrair. That the Guru is the Sakshat, direct representative of the Supreme Lord. So we should see the Guru not as an independent or separate guide. Rather, Guru is guiding on behalf of the Super Soul. It's just like this. Suppose Keshwar Prabhu is there, and then his disciples are there. So for us, we do not have direct personal association of Keshwar Prabhupada. So we have taken shelter of Prabhupada also, but we have taken shelter of his disciples and other senior devotees in the movement also, because they are representing Prabhupada. As long as they are representing Prabhupada in a true manner, then there is no difference in between taking shelter of Guru and Prabhupada. Similarly, taking shelter of Guru and Krishna is the same thing, as long as Guru is properly representing the message of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Now, does anyone else have any comments or questions? You can unmute.
Okay, so it seems like there are no questions. So shall we end here then, Mataji?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Yes.
Thank you all of you. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.